Hello! I know it's been a while. I'm sorry. I've had things to do. But today, or tonight, I'm going to give you my review of chapter 25. Now, I did read the whole book. Sorry. Okay, couldn't resist myself. I couldn't resist myself. I couldn't resist. Okay. It was really awesome. So it was only 2 chapters ahead, so unfortunately I know what's going to happen, so I can't make predictions. But hey, it's okay. It's only 2 chapters. You'll have to forgive me. But let's just get right into this review of chapter 25. Alright. So, hopefully this will make up for my lateness. But, anyway. So let's go ahead and go back to where we left off. Basically, we have, the crazy werewolves chasing Cato. And I like how, okay, so basically, yes, there are mutations in the capital. And I really like how, for a brief moment, Cato, Katniss, and Peeta are all allies. Even though they are, supposed to kill each other or whatever, obviously. I really like how there's always those moments where they realize, wait a minute, we need to all be on the same team right now. And I really wish that they would realize this, like I said, if I was in the Hunger Games, I'll save that for another video. But I really liked how they were all kind of like okay with each other being right next to each other. I like that. But unfortunately they're going back to kill each other. I think Katniss is thinking how she can kill Cato if he's so weak right now. And then as soon as I read this next detail, I kind of had a feeling that these werewolves were a little off. And it was about how they have like human qualities like hair color, they can walk on their legs. The first thing I started thinking is, oh shit, I know exactly what's going on. And we find out in a few paragraphs later, it's the tributes, the dead tributes. And we find out one of them is Rue, one of them is Glimmer, one of them is, Thresh. So that's pretty crazy that the Capitol can do that. Now I wonder, see, this is where Suzanne Collins has so much potential to do things, but she doesn't do them. I don't understand it. Okay, so, the whole time I'm thinking Rue, because she was turned into a werewolf. And, I was thinking, oh man, she's probably going to have Rue, about to attack Katniss, about to kill Katniss, right? And then out of nowhere, the werewolf just stops. And there's, something inside the werewolf, it's Rue, fighting herself in her inner battle, with the wolf. And kind of prevents killing Katniss, allowing her to escape or something. Oh, that'd be really cool. They didn't do that. That's it. We hear that Rue is there, and that's it. So, I was kind of hoping, I don't know, but maybe we'll find out about them later. I'm not gonna, alright, whatever. I know, I read the whole chapter, so I'll try and keep this chronological, but, yeah, the wolves die, but some of them don't die, and some of them, get transported away, so I was wondering if we're gonna see them later. Maybe we'll see the werewolf of Rue later. Who knows? So anyway. So right now it's a pretty intense moment. And shit's getting real. Katniss and Peeta are fighting for their lives. Peeta's getting desperate. A lot of shit's going down. I really don't know how. I don't want to describe this. You're better off just reading what it says. I'm not gonna reread what it says to the camera. But there's some few things I want to point out that kind of. Okay, look. I'm gonna bring up some controversial things in this video. You've been warned. That being said, let's start with the first one. I know I've brought up the race card a bunch of times, but look, I can't help it. I see something, I can't help but make the connection. I'm not going to pretend that the connection isn't there. Because, okay, this next statement she says, I arm my bow, but the arrow ends up taking out a mutt that can only be Thresh. Who else could jump so high? Okay. Well, what do we know about Thresh? He's black. Alright, he's pretty tough. But nowhere in this book can he jump high. Nowhere in the book does it mention anything like that. Yeah, he's tall. Okay, but just because you're tall doesn't mean you can jump high. Pretty sure, and not only that, this guy's supposed to be stocky, and stocky guys aren't able to jump high. They're not built a certain way, and this guy is kind of like the tough prison built probably since he's poor. So that means that he's not going to be, athletically built so he can jump high. So I don't understand, where, why, how, the only thing I can think of is, I know exactly why she said she can jump. I don't know. Look, it's a pet peeve of mine whenever I see something like that. It's like, wait, what? I don't know. I'm sorry. it's off topic, and hopefully it doesn't offend anybody. So anyway, so I like how it's cool. We find out that basically Cato got that body armor from the Capitol, and it's kind of interesting because I was wondering what every person got. Thresh got, who knows, and we don't know what Fox Face needed. Probably just food, but it's interesting. But let's go here. So basically, right now, after Cato and all of them are on top of the cornucopia, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, they get to the cornucopia and they go up top because that's basically their means of survival. From the werewolves and stuff. So during that, Cato becomes behind Peeta, and basically Katniss is, and there's a little lapse here that I didn't really get. Like somehow Katniss is looking at the werewolves, they're jumping, then Cato's behind her, Peeta's somewhere around her, and somehow she thinks that a werewolf got Peeta. See, this is the thing that I don't really understand. Like, I would have to see this. Like, it's kind of hard to describe because I was kind of weird. I was kind of weird about the placement of where everyone was. I understand that the cornucopia is like a horn, but there was really no description besides that. He was at the top. Peeta was around there. I don't know. See, I don't know. I look at this stuff, and even in the trailer, do we really see the cornucopia? It's supposed to be this giant thing, but we don't see it. I don't know. So anyway, that would actually be disappointing because that means that the scene probably wouldn't be so much in here. Anyway, so I'm sorry I get off track. So right now, Cato is holding Peeta basically, and then it's a high climatic moment, and then they're in a stalemate because Cato can't kill Peeta or else Katniss will kill him. So what Cato plans to do is push Peeta towards Katniss, and then Katniss, whatever, they'll both die. But then, Peeta's like, puts an X on his hand. You couldn't see that. Okay, so, and then he releases it, and then, of course, Cato is the only one that falls back, which is kind of bullshit to me because if Peeta put an X on his hand and then Katniss shot the arrow, that would mean that it's going through. See, I don't understand the point of the X because if it's supposed to help her aim, she doesn't have X on all the squirrels she hunts. So the X is supposed to, I guess, just to tell her to shoot him right there, and then he's gonna move his hand at the last second, maybe. I don't know. See, this is the thing. It's just no detail. I reread it and I was like, wait, what? The X, and okay, all it says is that she gets it. That's all that it says. It doesn't say anything here like what that means. She just says, I understand what that means. Well, why don't you tell us, the reader, what that means? So I don't know what happened there. Because the reason why I'm bringing this up, because obviously if an arrow goes through Peeta's hand, then his hand's going to have an arrow through it, okay, which is going to be connected to Cato, which therefore means they are connected, which means they should both fall off the fucking cornucopia. So, that's my pet peeve. But of course, plot no jutsu, or in other words, I say that it just basically means that plot is going to overtake the story no matter what. The main characters aren't going to die just yet, no matter what kind of predicament they're in. But this is the part where I get mad at Suzanne Collins, and I'm sorry, here's another controversial thing for whatever reason, like I said, I'm against killing. Alright, so it just kind of pisses me off, after I read a book, I like to go on Spark Notes and see if my analysis is anywhere near Spark Notes or any of the other sites, the Shrump, I don't know how to pronounce it right, but all the other websites, and, other people's opinions also. But, everyone pretty much, I'll leave this for another video about how I'm going to get into the Spark Note analysis as a joke, but, at least to me, I'll get into that later, I'm sorry, god damn it. Okay, so Cato, yes, so they kind of depict Cato as like this monster, and even Suzanne Collins does, like he's like this monster, everywhere in this book, there's so much going on that's pretty much identical to Katniss, and the perfect example, when Cato and Clove were sitting there in an intense moment saying, don't die on me, that was an intense moment, and Katniss just shrugs it off like, oh, good for them, and Suzanne Collins makes it seem like he's a monster, like, oh yeah, he's a monster, they're going through the same exact shit that Katniss and Peter are going through. Okay, it's just they're, maybe their views a little bit twisted. All they think about is, I need to kill, I need to win, I need to get the district, I need to get money, I need to win, I need to survive. That's what Katniss is thinking. Okay, it's just she tries to depict Cato as this monster, like it's okay for him to die, and it's just, I don't know. Like, nowhere in here does Katniss ever understand how. Like, I thought she should have understood when Cato was sitting there by Clove. Like, I looked at them for a brief moment and thought that, oh, you know what, maybe, the Hunger Games is something, more intense. I don't know, something. But no, that's it. Good for them. Good. I'm so glad Clove died and got brutally murdered. I'm so happy for that. That's the message it's really trying to depict there. And then here, Cato, I think he's kind of cool. I like how he went out with a bang, basically. For like hours and hours, he was fighting off these werewolves by himself with a sword. That's going to be pretty badass, honestly. I want to see that in the movie. Like, just him swinging the sword, killing wolves. That's going to be, I want to see that done like slow motion and just sweat and just how tired he is, That's pretty intense, but unfortunately, he's going to have a really shitty outcome. He's going to get eaten alive for hours, and not only hours, like days. Not days. It's like a full day, though. And I don't know if anyone heard that story about that guy that went to go, live with the bears. But, unfortunately, they started eating him, and it lasted for, like, a long time, and he was alive during the whole thing. That makes me kind of get chills, like, that's terrible. Just imagining that, And just to have that happen to Cato, like, why? Why? I don't know, it's just terrible. That's torture. I saw an interview with Suzanne Collins about, oh, I have such a hard time writing the deaths of all my characters. Just go die, Suzanne Collins. I'm sorry. That probably offended a lot of people, but seriously, you had a hard time writing this? Well, you probably didn't have to write that. You could have just said that he died. He lasted for a long time. He died. Done. But no, you had to make him suffer like it was hellfire. Seriously, that's the terrible way to go. To get eaten alive, but you're alive during the whole thing. For hours, like 12 hours. That's terrible. Oh my God, she probably got a boner writing that stuff. Honestly, jeez. So anyway, it's cool how Katniss, wants to end Cato's suffering, but he doesn't go out with any honor, just death. He's depicted as the enemy, which I never really see any of these tributes as enemies. None of them are enemies. They're all part of the Capitol's fucking twisted control. So I don't like how any kind of tribute's depicted as an enemy. That shouldn't happen. I'll go into once I give my whole Hunger Games review, I'll review what I would have done in the Hunger Games the whole time. And hopefully you guys will like that. I have a very strong opinions on these kind of things. I'm sorry if I offend anybody, by the way. I, of course, don't think my opinion is right. It's just my opinion. So then we find out that, the troll, as I would call him, says that, oh, nope, you guys actually can only have one winner. Ha 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 ha. Happy Hunger Games. And so that means that Peeta and Katniss had to kill each other. Now, in that moment, oh man, I was wondering, because I had a feeling that this might happen. I didn't really know. So I wish I would have done the review. I could have mentioned it, so I can't really give myself credit or anything. But, I was like, I wonder how this is going to go down. And I was like, you know what? They're probably going to do a whole Romeo and Juliet thing and just do the double suicide. And they do. And that's actually pretty cool. Because it honestly, in that situation, I really wouldn't want to live either. Because if you live, that means, okay, I killed the person. I'd feel guilty. I wouldn't even want to live. Why would I want to live? So what? Go live in a life of torment? Be like Haymitch? Hell no. I'd kill myself right there on the spot. And I would make sure that he wouldn't have to kill me. That's what I would have done. But, and I like how she basically comes to this conclusion, but it's a little different, and I'll get into that. So, this is something that Suzanne Collins, I wish she would have listed. Sometimes she just says things, I just wish she would go on. Like, this is what Katniss is. Basically, they're talking about, that rule is just made, and she says, and he goes on about how he loves me, what life would be without me, but I stopped listening, and blah, 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 blah. Of course you've stopped listening, you dumbass. But, I wouldn't know what exactly he said. That's real for him. And I wish he would have made the connection. Wait a minute. this isn't the games anymore. He's actually saying he loves me, and she gets it eventually, but you know, I don't know. She doesn't really take it seriously. All she can think about is how to have a victor, and they basically have a moment where Katniss pulls out her bow, about to shoot him because Peeta pulled out a knife, but he was going to throw it away, and then Katniss feels bad, but she doesn't feel bad. She wanted to murder him. So anyway, they're both about to commit suicide with those berries that Foxface, the character herself, was brought into the story just to show us the berries, and that unfortunately happens, and they're both about to eat the berries and kill themselves. But this is what I want to talk about. It's interesting. Katniss doesn't really have a motive for the thing. Like she was saying, well, let's both commit suicide, but she was still hinting at Peeta, hey, maybe we can get the capital to let us live. So it kind of makes me think that she wasn't really doing it to kill herself. She was more doing it because she maybe knew that the capital may interfere, because they have to have. I mean, she even reasons it out in her head. She's like, they have to have a victor, and that means that the game makers would have failed if they don't have a victor, and blah 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 blah, because they need a victor. They have this whole tour set up for the victor and everything. They need to have the Hunger Games fresh in everyone's minds, so that's why they need to do that. So she kind of had the capital by the balls, if you will, So by the berries, I should say. Okay, that was bad. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. And then basically Claudius comes up and is like, "No, stop! I'm sorry." And then he's like, I give you the winners, and that it kind of made me happy. I mean, come on, you knew Katniss and Peeta weren't gonna die. I mean, seriously. But I like that. There we go, clean cut. That's chapter 25. Really good chapter. The next two chapters is basically, I would call it an epilogue. It's really just kind of, an epilogue. Okay, I'm sorry. It just basically goes on about, what happens afterwards, which really gets pretty interesting here. Fuck it, I'm just going to do it right now. I'm going to pause this video, and I'm going to do the review right now. Just for you. Anyway. Alright. Alright, goodbye. Sorry.